Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. It's a question that many longtime fans have been asking. Could we be witnessing the seas part for the return of Spencer Cassadine in Port Charles? And if so, might that return involve a recast? With Kai Taylor's storyline apparently being edged toward exit status, layered with betrayals and dramatic shifts, the stage seems set for major change in the young Cassadine/Robinson corner of the canvas. Let's unpack what's happening, what the indicators are, and what this could mean for several characters, especially Trina Robinson. First, let's address the facts. Spencer Cassadine was last portrayed by Nicholas Alexander Chavez. The character took a major fall, literally, when he and Esme Prince plunged off a boat and Spencer was presumed dead. That happened early in 2024. Why since then, the character has been largely absent from storylines. Meanwhile, Kai Taylor, portrayed by Jens Austin Astrup, moved into Trina Robinson's orbit. But recent evidence indicates Jens Austin Astrup is now off contract. That is a strong indicator that Kai's arc is shifting or winding down, and that makes the timing ripe for something new to emerge, like Spencer's return in some form. Why would the show consider recasting Spencer? There are a few compelling narrative and production reasons. For one, the Cassadine family is a core legacy family at General Hospital. Spencer has strong roots. He's the son of Nicholas Cassadine, a key figure, and the grandson of other major players. His relationships with Trina, the Cassadine inheritance, the drama of his criminality and redemption arcs, all of that adds up to dangling story threads that the writers may not want to abandon. According to one soap site commentary, Spencer's body was never found after his fall, leaving the door open. From a narrative standpoint, that's gold. You can write an escape, a fake death, amnesia, a hidden recovery, all common tools in daytime dramas. On the production side, Chavez has other commitments and his departure may not have been purely narrative-driven. A recast allows the show to keep the character in play while accommodating the actor's schedule or career trajectory. As one online fan thread bluntly asserted, first and foremost, Spencer should have been recast months ago. Chavez has no intention of returning. That kind of fan sentiment signals a vocal audience ready for Spencer's return, even if scrambled. So a recast isn't just plausible, it could be expedient. Now let's examine how Kai's apparent fade-out plays into this possibility. Kai became Trina's partner, and while they have had chemistry and story arcs, recent developments appear to weaken that coupling's dramatic power. Kai reportedly betrayed Trina's family by warning Drew Kane about a plan that involved Trina's father and Curtis Ashford. That betrayal weakens the good guy protecting the heroine dynamic that had been building. Meanwhile, Kai's contract status being off signals that the show may not invest further in him as a long-term lead for Trina. That gives the writers an opening. If Kai is phased out, Trina is left unmarried in soap terms, and Spencer's return, or potential recast, could plug that gap. From the viewpoint of Trina's character arc, this is rich territory. Trina Robinson has been paired romantically with Spencer. They had an intense, destined-for-each-other vibe. The show built up Spencer and Trina as a once-in-a-lifetime love story. Meanwhile, Trina's move to Kai may have been temporary, a storyline detour, but not meant to be permanent. With Kai on the way out, the door opens for Trina's heart to drift back towards Spencer, or at least, towards someone who has the same gravitas in her world. If Spencer returns, the emotional stakes are automatically heightened. The youth's near-death, his trauma, the Cassadine baggage, it all intersects with Trina's loyalty, identity, and future. Let's consider possible storytelling routes if Spencer is recast. One route. Spencer returns as the same character but with a different face, a new actor. This would require the show to explain how he survived the fall, where he's been, and why he's back now. In soap tradition, this could involve a European hideout, lost memory, manipulated identity, run-in with a Cassadine rival, or even being brainwashed or held captive. The fact that his body was never recovered offers the narrative wiggle room. A second route, the show introduces a Spencer type, maybe someone who claims to be him, or a twin/clone variant, or the character is reintroduced but with significant changes. That would still count as a recast, just with more narrative twist. For instance, the Cassadine heritage could play into it. The Count's son has returned, but he's not the same. That kind of version would allow the writers to retain the character's name and legacy, while signaling transformation and payoff. A third route, the show could keep the Spencer is dead status, but bring back another key Cassadine. Maybe resurrect a storyline around his younger sibling or a surrogate figure that tips into Trina's arc. That action, however, seems less likely given the current chatter about a recast. The fan sentiment is overwhelmingly, bring back Spencer in some form. One article even titled, General Hospital needs to bring Spencer Cassadine back as a recast ASAP. Here's why. Next, what about Trina's landscape and how this fits into the larger canvas in Port Charles? Trina's life has been fraught with loss and change. Spencer's presumed death forced her to grieve, to move on. Then Kai came along, with promise and stability. But betrayal undermines that. If Kai is going away, Trina enters a transition phase, emotionally vulnerable, story-rich, and in need of a strong co-lead. Enter Spencer, or his returning version. From a writing vantage, this sets up multiple plot opportunities. The emotional homecoming scene, the I Thought You Were Dead reunion, the redemption arc, the Cassadine-Robinson family tension, and the romantic triangle or reignition. Let's dig deeper into potential plot beats a returning Spencer could trigger. 1. Confrontation with Nicholas Cassadine. Spencer's father has always been a complex figure, a Cassadine with conscience and conflict. Spencer's return could reignite unresolved issues: inheritance, identity, legacy, and loyalty. 2. The Trina confrontation. Spencer re-entering her life just as she thought she'd moved on. That emotional collision is rich with tears, apologies, tension, jealousy, and hope. 3. Cassadine internal power struggle. The Cassadine family tends to generate villains, secrets, coups. So bringing Spencer back could signal a new generation stepping into the darkness or twilight of the family social circle ripple effects. Trina's allies, the extensions of the Robinson family, the connections to the Corinthos, Weber, and Q lines all get triggered. A Cassadine return usually shakes multiple branches of the tree. Production cues also support recasting potential. When an actor leaves or moves on, soaps often temporarily write the character away, then bring in a recast when the story demands. The removal of Jens Austin Astrup's contract suggests the show is freeing up space. The active dialogue in fan forums about Spencer's return underscore viewer appetite. Studios have said Spencer's body was never found, giving head writer options. On-screen credits reflect changes. All of these are meta-indicators that behind the scenes, the return is likely. It's worth noting potential challenges. Recasting a character with a strong prior actor is always risky. Chavez won a Daytime Emmy and had a fan following. If the audience perceives the new actor as inferior, the momentum could stall. The show must handle the explaining the return logically enough in soap terms, yet fresh enough to excite. Also, timing is crucial. Too soon, and the storyline may feel rushed. Too late, and the audience may move on. Balancing Trina's current story arc with the arrival of Spencer must be done carefully. Another complexity: tying up Kai's storyline cleanly. If Kai is exiting, there needs to be a believable turn or departure that complements the transition. For example, Kai may discover a major secret, betray more trust, leave for good, or be written off in a dramatic event. Only then can Spencer's return feel earned rather than shoehorned. It appears that the show may already be heading that way. The betrayal of Trina's family, the contract status change, these are strong signals. Let's explore how fans are reacting. On Reddit and other forums, many fans have posted plainly, "I think they will both be back." Probably a Spencer recast. Others argue the YA cast needs a brooding bad boy figure, and Spencer fit that slot perfectly. A recast would restore that. So, viewer sentiment is aligned with the theory of a return. The show runs on stories, and fan investment matters. If the audience is anticipating Spencer's return, the show stands to gain by delivering. Beyond Trina, the return of Spencer could also serve the bigger theme of the Cassadine resurgence. For years, the family has been semi-dormant, choffering other characters rather than driving their own stories. A returning Cassadine prince could shift the family back to center stage and trigger rivalries with the Corinthos, the Webers, the Qs, and the Robinsons. That could be a bold creative signal from the writing team. The Cassadines aren't done yet. Especially in a soap where legacy families are often drawcards, this would make business sense. Now let's imagine how the first return episode might play. Picture this. Trina is at a vulnerable moment, perhaps after the fallout with Kai, or after learning of his betrayal. She's alone, reflecting on what's next, maybe even considering a path without romantic ties for the moment. At that very moment, a figure steps into the frame. It's Spencer. He looks different, and the camera lingers as realization hits. Silence. Then he speaks. Trina. She gasps. He says, "I didn't die, but I've been somewhere I had to leave." The music swells. Cut to Nicholas receiving an encrypted message. Cut to the Cassadine mansion with lights flickering. The audience is left with the shock, the hope, the questions. It sets up multiple story arcs. Why he's back, what he's been doing, what he wants now, and what that means for everyone else. From a scripting viewpoint, this kind of return gives the writers a clean new chapter while leveraging existing emotional investment. Spiderwebs of connections can be pulled. Trina and Spencer's chemistry, his absence causing pain, his return causing hope and tension. Trina may feel guilty for moving on with Kai. Spencer may feel resentment or betrayal that she did. She may feel joy he's back, but also fear of that joy being short-lived. And Kai, if still on canvas, must figure out his exit. Will he pick a fight? Will he step aside gracefully? Will he become an antagonist? The options multiply. Another angle. How will the show validate the recast in real time? Often soaps use a narrator or voiceover. Spencer Cassadine returns to Port Charles after being presumed dead. Or they may use first-person internal thought. Spencer's voiceover thinking about returning, walking in on Trina. They may frame his change in appearance as, "I spent a year healing in Europe," or "kidnapped by enemies of the Cassadine family." They might also bring in characters who discovered him, a Cassadine rival, a shadowy figure who kept him hidden. That builds suspense for maybe 1 or 2 episodes before the full reveal. The writers can drip clues. A tattoo, a scar, a foreign accent, unfamiliar behavior. Then the reveal sequence. Photo on Trina's phone, his voice, his signature. Financially and ratings-wise, returning a fan-favorite character can generate buzz. Social media chatter, teasers, magazine coverage all help heighten awareness for key episodes. If the show promotes Spencer Cassadine returns, ahead of time the live tune-in numbers could spike. Especially given that daytime soaps face stiff competition and evolving viewing behaviors, headline events like a legacy return help the brand. So from a business perspective, a recast is more than plausible. It's strategic. One more consideration, the romantic triangle potential. If Spencer returns, the writers can choose whether to reignite Spencer plus Trina directly or to complicate things by pairing Spencer with a new love interest, thereby creating tension with Trina. But given the heavy setup of Spencer/Trina as destined in fan commentary, it's likely the focus will be on that duo. Kai becomes the stepping stone, not the endgame. If the show wants to up the stakes, they might even bring in an Emma figure or another youth connection to spark jealousy or rivalry. Either way, Spencer's return would shift dynamics. What happens if the show does not recast Spencer? Alternative story tracks could include Spencer staying dead, Trina moving on fully with Kai or another, Cassadine presence focusing on another branch. But given the evidence, Kai's contract status, the open storyline gap, the fan expectations, this seems less likely. The narrative momentum supports the return. In closing, the fate of Spencer Cassadine is one of the most intriguing open threads in Port Charles right now. With Kai's exit looming, the show has a perfect pivot point to wind down the Kai/Trina chapter, rescue Trina emotionally, and reignite Spence/Trina with high stakes. The Cassadine legacy, the unresolved fall, the unsolved disappearance, all combine to make a recast not only possible but compelling. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for all of your updates.